Hey smart gardeners, welcome back to the channel. You've got those pepper seeds sown, the seedlings are looking hopeful, or maybe your plants are even starting to flower. But are you really setting them up for that bumper crop of fiery jalapenos, sweet bells, or scorching habaneros you dream about? Honestly, even the most enthusiastic pepper growers among us, myself included, I've learned the hard way, often stumble into a few common traps that silently sabotage our harvest. Peppers aren't difficult, but they have specific needs, and overlooking just one or two can mean the difference between a plant groaning under the weight of fruit and one that just lingers. Let's dive straight into these 5 critical mistakes you might be making right now and, crucially, exactly how to fix them. Get ready to transform your pepper patch. Mistake number 1. Drowning your peppers with love, overwatering. Here's the hard truth that many gardeners refuse to accept. Your peppers don't want as much water as you think they do. Overwatering is hands down the most destructive mistake you can make with pepper plants, yet it's disguised as caring gardening. When you see your plants looking a bit wilted or stressed, your instinct is to grab that watering can, but this knee-jerk reaction could be sealing their fate. The solution requires patience and observation. Before you water, stick your finger directly into the soil about 1 to 2 inches deep. If it feels moist, walk away and check again tomorrow. Only when that top layer feels dry should you provide a deep, thorough watering. Mistake number 2, treating peppers like shade plants, insufficient sunlight. If there's one thing that separates mediocre pepper harvests from abundant ones, it's understanding that peppers are absolute sun worshippers. These plants didn't evolve in the understory of forests or in partially shaded garden corners. They come from regions where the sun beats down relentlessly, and they've adapted to not just tolerate but thrive in these conditions. When peppers don't receive adequate sunlight, and we're talking about a minimum of 6 to 8 hours of direct, unfiltered sun daily, they respond by becoming leggy, weak, and unproductive. You'll notice the stems stretching upward, desperately searching for light, the leaves becoming pale and oversized, and most frustratingly, flower and fruit production grinding to a halt. The most successful pepper growers position their plants in the absolute sunniest spots available, often areas that might seem almost too intense for other vegetables. South-facing locations, areas that receive morning through late afternoon sun, and spots that aren't shaded by buildings, fences, or larger plants during peak sun hours, are ideal. Mistake number 3, starving your heavy feeders, or in other words, providing inadequate nutrition. This mistake often surprises gardeners because peppers can seem to be growing just fine at first, but then, all of a sudden, production stalls or the fruits stay small and kind of lackluster. The reality is, pepper plants are actually pretty hungry throughout their growing season, and, unlike some vegetables that can get by with just decent soil, peppers really demand consistent, balanced nutrition to reach their full potential. A lot of gardeners make the error of thinking that good soil preparation at planting time is enough to last the whole season. But while starting with quality soil is definitely crucial, peppers keep growing and producing for months, constantly drawing nutrients from the soil to fuel new growth, flower development, and fruit production. So the key here is really about establishing a consistent feeding schedule. You can use either a balanced organic fertilizer or maybe a nutrient-rich compost tea every 2 to 3 weeks throughout the growing season. And it's important to look for fertilizers with relatively equal ratios of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, since peppers need all 3 in a steady supply. Mistake number 4, cramping your pepper's style by using inappropriate container sizing. Container gardening has really opened up pepper growing to so many gardeners who just don't have traditional garden space, but it's also created a whole new category of mistakes. The most common error is either starting peppers in containers that are just too large at first, or more often, keeping them in containers that become too small as the season goes on. Starting young pepper plants in massive containers might seem logical, but it actually works against them. Large containers hold more water than small root systems can utilize, creating the same waterlogged conditions we discussed earlier. The solution is progressive repotting, moving plants to larger containers as they outgrow their current homes. A mature pepper plant producing well typically needs at least a 5-gallon container, with many varieties performing even better in 7 to 10-gallon containers. Mistake number 5, neglecting structure and strategic pruning, which really just means a lack of support and pruning. The first component of this mistake involves pruning strategy, specifically the failure to remove the first flowers that appear on young pepper plants. While it seems counterintuitive to remove flowers when you want fruit, those early blooms actually drain energy from establishing a strong plant structure. So, these 5 mistakes really represent the difference between gardeners who struggle with peppers year after year and those who consistently harvest abundant, flavorful crops. The beauty of addressing these issues is that none of them require expensive equipment or advanced techniques. They simply require knowledge and, consistent application of proper practices. Remember, successful pepper growing is all about understanding what these plants need and when they need it, rather than just applying generic vegetable gardening approaches. Peppers have specific requirements that, when met consistently, result in plants that not only survive but thrive, and honestly produce impressive harvests that will have your neighbors asking for your secrets. If this guide has helped you spot mistakes in your own pepper growing approach, make sure to subscribe to the Smart Garden channel for more practical, science-based gardening advice that actually works. And hey, share this guide with fellow gardeners who might be making these same costly mistakes. Together, we can help more gardeners achieve the pepper harvest they've been dreaming of. Your future self, standing in a garden full of thriving pepper plants heavy with fruit, will thank you for making these changes today.